My name is Mike Foster, the Entrepreneur's Mentor, and welcome to my interview series, A Zoom With. I regularly share my snippets through my YouTube channel, which are my thoughts to help you in the development of your business. But this A Zoom With series is about introducing you to experts with a view for them sharing their tips and their thoughts with you to also help you in the development of your business. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Juliet Summers from Inner Talent. Juliet helps to unleash the natural talent in people and business. Welcome, Juliet.
Thanks, Mike. So hottest day of the year to record.
Great to have you with us, and really excited to hear this is a topic that is really sort of close to my passion. So just to start with, if you could just introduce yourself and a little bit more about yourself, if you may.
Thanks, Mike. So I'm Juliet Summers, founder of Inner Talent, as Mike said. I've spent over 20 years in the retail and utility industries, in management and HR roles, and I've worked with lots of individuals and leadership teams. I'm a qualified coach, but my true passion is something called talent management, which does sound a bit weird sometimes. I like to think of it as the nice end of HR. So once you've got all the nuts and bolts in place, this is the kind of space where you're looking at things like recruitment, what are you going to do in the future, succession, developing people, engagement, performance, so all of those good things that I get to work with. And working with things like, different talent practices, tools, facilitation, coaching, all of those kind of things. When I'm not doing that, I'm a working parent. I've got a husband and 2 boys. I live in Reading, and I've got a bit of a passion for running. So that's a little bit about me.
Great, thanks Juliet. Great introduction. Can you just tell us then a bit more about talent management and how that can help a business?
Yeah, so keeping it tight. Talent management is all about looking to the future. So it's a really proactive piece, and it's all to do with your talent. And when I say talent, what I mean is everybody's got different talents, different knowledge, different skills, different behaviours. So it's really about your people and the talents that they bring to your business and where you want that to go in the future. So whether you're growing, you're scaling up, or you're thinking about legacy and what you do as you want to retire or move on from your business. So in terms of talent management, it's about two key things. One is managing your business risk with regard to talent. And the second one is getting the best contribution from your talent and making sure you're future fit with it. So in terms of those kind of 2 things, when I talk about managing the business risk in terms of talent management, that is all about managing things like what happens if somebody suddenly leaves? How do you anticipate that? If they may leave for all sorts of reasons. What if somebody gets sick and they can't work for a while? What about your knowledge? So in your business, who's got what knowledge? And how do you actually make sure that you've got some processes around that? And when I say knowledge, I specifically mean as well tacit knowledge. So that's the sort of knowledge that only somebody working alongside somebody would pick up. So it might be that someone you've got just works really well with a particular customer. If they were to suddenly go, someone else would not be able to pick that knowledge up about how they like to do business because it's not something written down. So it's really about thinking about what is the risk you've got of people leaving, people becoming unwell and unable to work, or it's unplanned. So it's, and also the risk of not having succession in place. So who is going to look after the business, or who's going to come up through the business, who can grow, what succession or contingency have you got? So it's a big thing in the talent management space, but identifying your business risk and looking at your business plan and what's happening going forward. The second piece is all about the talent side of it. So then it's really understanding what talent have you got? So what knowledge, skills and behaviours have you got with the team and the people around you? Matching that against what do you actually need for the future plans you've got for the business? So are you shifting product or process? Do you want to do something different with customers? Is there different behaviours you want to create? So what are the knowledge, skills and behaviours you want to bring on in the future? And what have you got in your team at the moment? And it's about maximising the contribution of the talent that you've actually got. Understanding their aspirations as well. Some people have got massive aspirations that want to move on. They can get really frustrated and therefore they may just leave you because another opportunity comes up. Others may have different aspirations. They may not want management or leadership to develop that way, but they might want to develop and take on more and contribute more. So it's really about how do you effectively look at your business risk, look at the talent you've got, and identify how you can then maximise that and put a real people plan together behind your business to support what you're trying to achieve. So that's it in a nutshell, and what it can do.
Yeah. And I know from conversations we've had, it's a much bigger there. And I have challenged you to put that into a nutshell, so I appreciate that. But you have talked about risks, and I do think businesses don't always consider the risks of their talent management. So that's quite interesting. So once you've identified the risks and thought about development, how can you then develop the people then?
In terms of developing people, it really depends on your size, your scope, your scale, and what you've actually identified that you need to develop in. I think the first thing is about being aware and getting an understanding of what strengths and weaknesses, knowledge, skills and behaviours your team have got, or where you want to be in the future as a business, where you are yourself. And then actually the second thing is to then start to put some plans together about what are the gaps that you want to fill in. And I think really importantly, it's about continuous development in the time we're in now, the ability of businesses to adapt and to keep developing their people, so that you're constantly learning new knowledge, skills and behaviours, keeping up with the market, the tech, what's changing in your industry or your customers, what shifts are happening is really, really important. So it's about being aware, getting clear on the gaps, continuously reviewing that. And in terms of the actual nuts and bolts of what do you do to develop, there is just a massive menu which can often paralyse people because there's just so much you can do. So there's all the technical development, but then there's also the behavioural development, and there's different routes to doing that. So once you know what it is, you can start to think about it. And then you've got all the different media you can use. You've got really formal development, which is courses, qualifications, right through to really more informal development. And you can Google and YouTube anything at the moment. So learning off other people, reading, going online, there's just such a variety of things that you can do. Then you get into the mentoring and the coaching space as well. So all of these different kind of mediums and different formal or informal types can be used. And it depends on, what you've got to invest, if it's an individual or whether it's a group of people, whether it's a technical thing or whether it's more a behavioural thing, developing leadership, for example, or helping someone develop some management skills. So there's a whole lot of things out there, and it's about making the right choice and fit for what's right for your business. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and you made a really interesting point I'd like to just pick up on. And you talked about technical development, behavioural development. Do you see that businesses are quite balanced in that focus, or do you find they tend to be focusing on one side rather than the other?
I think it comes down to the culture of the business and the leaders in the business, and where the focus is. So I think sometimes businesses will focus on when they'll develop a new process or a new product, but actually investing in developing the skills and behaviours to actually sell that or bring that to life, or to actually really maximise that new process can fall by the wayside when you're implementing those kind of changes in the business. So I think sometimes there's a lot of investment in technical development because it's quite tangible. It's kind of easier to go, well, we need to learn this new system, or we're going to learn new virtual, like everyone with new virtual tech at the moment. It's a quick result and you can see it very quickly. Whereas behavioural development, it's about really understanding what that shift in behaviour is going to look like. So if you invest in the behaviours of sales or negotiation or influencing, you want to see the uplift then in customers converting. So how do you, it's less tangible, but you can put some measurements around it.
And just in terms of talent management in itself, can you give us some examples of like the impact it can have on a business? Yeah,
so some of the key things that you can have a direct impact on unplanned cost. So for example, if one of someone you really value decides to leave you for whatever reason, you've then got a number of things that happen. One is you've got to replace them. So you've got recruitment costs, you've got the downtime costs of them going and getting someone up to the level of performance and knowledge in the business that they were. And maybe you've lost someone because they didn't see that there was opportunities to grow and develop with you. And that's a sad situation that sometimes happens. So the impact of really thinking about these and having conversations with your team and your people around it can often stop you with that kind of cost. And the other thing is the cost of loss of knowledge. So if you lose key knowledge out of your business because it walks out the door, or somebody's taken ill for a while, which is a horrible situation, but they've got knowledge that you just don't know. So I guess the key thing are managing your risk reduces cost of unplanned, or having to recruit somebody quickly, or recruitment mistakes, or not having the succession, not having the right knowledge or skills to actually drive the performance as well. So there's a cost element. The other thing is reducing your risk, because you've actually got a plan. You're looking ahead, you're anticipating what's going to be coming, where your people are at. You're more likely to know when someone starts to think about moving on, or actually they're getting a bit, then they're not, their performance is kind of, it's okay, but they could be contributing more. And then I think the real benefit, it is a more intangible piece, but the real benefit in it is the level of engagement it creates. So the level of morale and engagement, having conversations, investing in developing people, it's got that real hard business benefit in that it increases performance, it increases what's happening and through to your customers, and then through into business results. But it also generates a really good feeling of morale, investment, even just a conversation about someone's development. It can really shift the relationships in a business, but also how someone feels valued. And from all the research that's out there on employee engagement, companies like Gallup, etc., you can see that an engaged workforce where those kind of conversations and investment in development is going on, these people feel valued, which means they perform better, which means they look after customers better, which means better business results. So I think that's the key one, the positive sides. And then there are, obviously the costs as well.
Fantastic, and I love that you've picked out the costs, because that's something I talk to my clients all the time about. Is particularly what I class as hidden costs. It's really easy to see in the business that someone's salary is such and such, and the training of those people is such and such, but unproductivity or the impact of not managing our talent, I guess, effectively, is a hidden cost in the business. And great that you sort of resonated with that as well. So I'm going to take you now in terms of the current situation and where we are with the current situation. What's on your mind right now for businesses and around talent management in the current circumstances?
I think it's a really tough time, because I think it's a great opportunity for businesses and teams to rethink their business. So I think everyone, there's an element of being forced to, but there's also an element of a mindset piece, choosing your mindset around what's the opportunity to review how you do business, how you might do business in the future, what's shifting for your customers, and actually really challenging yourself on not doing things the way you've done them, but what could you do differently? So I think there's a massive opportunity for that. And lots of people you can just see their heads are so full at the moment, business owners thinking, do I do this? Do I do that? Where do I go with this? How do I make it sustainable? How do I get quickly back on board? How do I communicate with customers? There's lots going on. I think the second opportunity that really sits well with that is, what is the opportunity to work differently as a team? So with your talent. So is that about flexible working? How quickly can you upskill them to be virtually brilliant, really engage and communicate with your customers virtually? And what are your competitors doing? So I think there's some real interesting things around what's the opportunity to think through how you do business, how your people and you do business with your customers, with your stakeholders in a different way virtually as well. I think the other thing that's coming through is a real sense of needing to and wanting to show up and support people through change. Lots of people have been furloughed. There's lots of uncertainty around jobs. People are homeschooling. People have all got different home working situations and family situations, and they're worried about work. They're trying to balance things. They're going through a whole load of new routines and daily life. And some of it is probably actually would like to keep some of that, and some of it is actually I want to go back to normal. So I think now is, how do you show up and support your people, your teams, and yourself actually through that, and looking at it positively. And I think the other thing is about who looks after the leaders in this. So often everyone's looking at the leader, but okay, you need to make the decisions, you need to sort all this out, you're the leader, right? But actually, who helps you? And I think that, for me, in part of the work I've been more recently, that's really shown me the power of coaching in this space at the moment. So being able to have a service where someone is there, not with an agenda like your family or your partner or other people around you, but having a space where you can sort all the spaghetti in your head out and really think about whether you're on furlough and you're just going, I just need some help to sort out what I can do and maximise mindset wise, manage that and actually work through a positive plan of action for me, or whether you're looking at your business and saying, okay, I've got a number of options. Where can I go right now? What do I need to do? How can I work through this? How can I see the opportunities rather than the worries? So I think the power in coaching right now has come right to the fore, you know, some of the people I'm working with as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. I could talk all day. It's a fascinating topic, and even in this short time, you've highlighted some sort of things that I haven't personally considered around that. So, yeah, these interviews are really about people sharing their expertise, sharing how their skill can add value to people's businesses and how it can help people develop their own business. So thank you for coming and sharing some time with us today. I know you're busy with a number of things. So thank you again, Juliet, for sharing your time and expertise with us.
Thanks for the invite, Mike. Pleasure.
So please subscribe to my YouTube channel and get notified each time I publish a new interview. And I'll see you next time for a Zoom with whoever's next.